Look, anointing is here already. Do you know how small my church was? My church was like this stage. Students. You know the places that I have been and what God has praised me without recommendation. Nobody has recommended me in the ministry. You know where we come from, people don't easily recommend. They don't easily introduce. Hey, there was nobody to introduce me in the ministry. Even when I was getting married, I didn't have anybody to officiate my wedding. Oh yeah. When I became a pastor, I went to the church and informed them that from today I am a pastor. That's how I became a pastor. I'm no more Brother Dag, I'm now Pastor Dag. It is the grace, and it's an anointing. Oh yeah. And when I wanted my church to grow, I said there is something on some. When I sit by Yonghi Cho, I see that I feel that there's something on him. There is. You see, I'm trying to let you see something spiritually. There is something on the person. Otherwise, he cannot do what he's doing. How do you know that the anointing has come on a person? This is how to know. Listen carefully. This is how to know. You know that you have received an anointing when you begin to do the things the person who is anointed does with similar results. And that's how I recognize anointings. When I look at Pastor Chris, I recognize an anointing. Pastor Chris Oyakilome. Is that the right way to pronounce it? I recognize something. He said, and the one on whom you see the Spirit descending, and the one on whom you see that anointing. So how come pastors we can't see anointing? Many years ago, I wanted to have a big church, and I decided to try and get in touch with Yonghi Cho. Now somebody sent me some tapes. That's what I want to do. Church growth and this, church growth and that, church growth by Yonghi Cho in English. Hey, I started to listen to them, and I started to get closer to a church growth anointing. Big church. When you go to Korea, you'll be amazed. Yeah. I mean, it is fantastic. Yeah. You have to choose. Did you hear me? I said you have to choose. Just like when you go to a shop, say, I want a black suit or white suit or red tie or blue tie. You choose. I want this thing. If it's a grace to start churches, see somebody say, I want this thing. There is a lot to it. It's a long journey, but you can have it. I have learned something, you can have it. That's what I've learned in my ministry. If I have not learned anything, I've learned that you can have these spiritual blessings. It's possible. It's not impossible. You know, many ministers don't understand what they are doing, and many ministers don't want people to have what they have. So they make it very mystical.
You know, when the Lord called me, when he appeared to me in the room there, and he just sat down on the chair, and he spoke to me about my calling. And he said to me, you know, my son, this is a special unction that I'm placing. You stretch out your right hand. And I stretch out my right hand, and he put a diamond in my hand. I receive the glory of God for this eternal ministry.
Hey. Then you look at you. Jesus doesn't come to your room. How can you ever be like that? How can you ever amount to anything? Because the thing is so wild. A light shining, this, that, whatever, diamond.
And then after Jesus said to me, he said, my son, kneel down. And I knelt down immediately. And he took a certain divine oil and he poured it on my head. When he poured on my head, I began to feel a supernatural infusion of divine glory and visitation. Glory be to God.
So now, when you hear that, you say, me, I only read Bible and I pray. I open Bible, I read, I pray. I say that I don't feel anything. Hey, how many understand what I'm talking about? Hey, it sounds so wild and so far. God sent me here to tell you that you can be anointed. I tell you, you can have something specific. When I was in university, I had some tapes from Fred Price. My father's one of them is Fred Price. I learned how to preach by watching him preach. You know, I just used to watch him. One day my father came to the room, he saw me watching the video. He said, do you think you can become a priest by watching videos? He was prophesying. I actually was becoming a priest by watching the videos. I used to watch the same video. I like the way he preached. I like the way he walked about. I like the way he talked to people. He would walk the congregation. Isn't it? Have you seen him? He'll put his hand there. He'll talk to the people, this and that. And he had the crowd and he was talking, asking them. It was nice. One day I was in my church, years later, and I was in the middle of the congregation holding the chair and talking to the people. It was a Sunday morning, and the Lord said to me, see, you are there. I was a student without a church when I started to watch that thing, and the Lord said, you are there. What you saw, what you believed, you are standing. I was standing there in a large congregation on a Sunday morning, talking to them exactly the same way that Fred Price was talking to the people. Now, one of the ways you can follow someone is through his books and tapes, CDs, videos. Fred Price, I just met him last year or 2 years. 2 years. That's the first time he came to town, and then somebody called and said, Fred Price wants to have dinner with us. I said, how does Fred Price know me? I don't know how he knows. He wants to have me with you. So I went and met with him, gave him an offering, and that was it. That's the first and only time I've ever seen him for 30 minutes. I never met him before. Kenneth Hagin, never met him, just once. But I follow them. Oh, I know them better than the people that are in the church. The people that are in the church, they don't know what they have. The people that are in the congregation, they don't know what is with them. They don't know the type of grace that is around them. That is how it is, the familiarity. You don't know what you have, you don't know what is there. It's just, around, you just see it as nothing. That's why sometimes you have to travel so you see that people appreciate you. You see that you realize what giftings are in you. You're just always with the same congregation. There's something we call the aura of the visitor.